Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to change the spark plugs on a 5.7 V8 HEMI. This particular model is a Dodge Durango RT, so I'm going to show you what all you need. Since this is a HEMI, you will need to get 16 spark plugs because there are 2 for each cylinder. Now I went with these iridiums, and I got 4 packs of 4. These are the Iridium 9s by NGK. I got these off Rock Auto, and it was like $5.50 per spark plug, which is the cheapest I could find for this good of quality. I definitely recommend Iridium. I don't recommend any lower quality metal. And here is the part number, and I'll link these in the description to Rock Auto so you can get them. But you'll need 16 of those. And here are the tools that you will need for this job. You'll need a socket wrench, a couple different extensions. So I've got a couple 6-inch and a 3-inch here, and then you'll need a universal joint socket because there are some hard to reach areas, and this helps, you know, bend and reach them with the socket wrench. You'll need a 10mm socket, and that is for the coil packs that are on top of the plugs, since this is a coil on plug application. And then you'll need a 5/8 inch spark plug socket, and I recommend a spark plug socket one because it's got the rubber inside to go over the spark plug. And then you may or may not need just a small screwdriver to push in the clamp on the coil packs to pull that harness off the coil pack to pull the coil pack out. So let's get real quick, guys. I wanted to mention, make sure you get a spark plug gap tool too. And before you install the spark plugs, just check each gap on them. I know that they come pre-gapped, but it's good to just make sure. The Durango, the 5.7 V8 needs to be 0.043. So basically you just put this bottom part here underneath the top part of the split, like basically in between where the spark is going to spark on the spark plug. I forget the name, like the technical term, but you want to check that it's not any bigger than 0.4 or 0.043, and not any, not much smaller either. You don't want it to be too small because then you won't get adequate spark. If it's too big, then you risk the chance of the spark plug hitting the piston, which is not good. So just make sure you get one of these. They're cheap, and just check each one. It takes a couple seconds. Just check each one before you put it in. All right, if you have an engine cover, first thing you're going to do is just pop that off. It just comes off. There's no bolts or anything like that. And we're going to get to the first coil pack here. There are 2 10mm bolts on each coil pack. I can show you one there, one right there. I already took these 2 out. They look like that. They got little washers on them. Just be careful not to drop them down in the engine there. Once those are off, the coil pack's loose. You'll have to take off this harness, and this is where I said that you might need a screwdriver, but you just push in. Let me see if I can get a good angle. Push in this top part right here, and then this just pops off. And then this coil pack can come out. And once the coil pack is out, you have access to the spark plugs, and that's when you'll need the other tools to get in there and get the spark plug. One thing I wanted to note, guys, is that this is a lefty-loosey, righty-tighty application, so you will need to break them loose. They shouldn't be too tight, but once you do, you can unscrew them. I'm actually screwing one back in right now. What you do when you screw them in, hand tighten them until you can't tighten it with your hand anymore, and then just give it like one turn. You don't want to over tighten these because you could mess up the cylinder head, and then that's going to be a huge issue there. One thing I wanted to note too, there's a big arguments about this anti-seize. I still put it on mine just because I'm used to doing it. A lot of these spark plugs you don't have to do it just because the different metals, they're not going to seize together, but I do like to do it. So that's my kind of tip, I guess, is just put some anti-seize on it. Doesn't hurt it if you do it, and it just takes a second. So when you go to put the new socket in, or the new spark plug in, just set it into the socket, the spark plug socket, and then with your extension, and then just drop it in there. I'm going to try to get an angle here so you guys can see what I mean. Just drop it right in there, till it hits, and then just don't use very much strength, just turn it. And then you'll turn it till it tightens. With this, what I'll do here is I'll put this 3-inch extension on the other 3-inch extension. That way it gives me a little more leverage to tighten it. But just hand tight, and then put a socket wrench on there. And don't overdo it, you know, don't hulk it, just tighten it up. These aren't going to go anywhere if they're, you know, just tightened a little bit. After you replace both the plugs, just drop the coil pack back in, push it all the way down, and then tighten those two 10mm bolts. Don't forget to hook the harness back up, and you'll be good to go. And just do that for the other 7 cylinders. And like I said, I would definitely recommend starting on the driver's side, because that's the hardest side to reach. Passenger side's pretty easy to get to all of them. Thanks for watching.